Hello and welcome to another 10-minute story time from the Madison Public Library right here on the internet. Let's start it out right, Maple? Open, shut them, give a little clap, clap, clap. Open, shut them, lay them in your lap, lap, lap. Creep them, crawl them, do not touch your chin, chin, chin. Open wide your little mouth, but do not let them in. Today for our story, we're having another special guest, Emily Anga. I'll let her tell you what her crown is for. But because she did it from her home, we don't have a mystery picture. Although we do have a mystery word. It is shoes, because she is reading The Elves and the Shoemaker. Every time you hear the word shoe, you can go ahead and do the shoe sign. Take it away, Emily.
Hi, I'm Emily Inga, Miss South Dakota Preteen USA Ambassador 2020. And today, I'm going to read you a story. This one is one of my favorites, and my little brother helped me pick it out. Hi! It's called The Elves and the Shoemaker. Once upon a time, a shoemaker lived with his wife above his workshop. The shoemaker was a good man, and he worked hard, but he was very poor. The day came when he had only enough leather left to make one pair of shoes. He cut out the leather and then left it on his workbench. I'll be able to make a better pair of shoes after I've had a good night's sleep, he told his wife as they went upstairs. The next morning, the shoemaker went downstairs. What a surprise he had! Instead of the leather on his new workbench, there was a brand new pair of shoes. They were neatly and perfectly made, with not a stitch out of place. "These shoes are masterpieces," the shoemaker exclaimed to his wife. He put them in the window, hoping someone would come and buy them. Soon, a finely dressed young man entered the workshop to try on the shoes. They fitted perfectly. The man was so pleased, he happily paid a high price. The shoemaker was able to buy enough leather to make 2 new pairs of shoes. That night, the shoemaker was tired, so he cut out the leather and left it on his workbench. Then he went to bed. The next morning, the shoemaker had another surprise. There on the workbench were 2 new pairs of shoes. They were even more beautiful than the first pair, and they were just as perfectly made. Before lunchtime, the shoemaker had sold both pairs for a very good price. Now he had enough money to buy leather for 4 pairs of shoes. Once again, he cut out the leather, left it on his workbench, and went upstairs to bed. In the morning, they found 4 pairs of shoes, all perfectly stitched. The same thing happened every day for weeks. The shoes were appearing as if by magic. "Let's try and find out who's making them," his wife said. So that night, the shoemaker left some leather on his workbench, just as before. Then, instead of going to bed, he and his wife hid behind a curtain at the back of the shop. There they waited and waited and waited. Finally, at the stroke of midnight, in danced 2 tiny elves through the shop door. They skipped up to the workbench and quickly began sewing the leather into fine new shoes. As they worked, they sang, "We will sew and we will stitch to help the shoemaker get rich." Soon, the shoes were finished, and the little elves danced out of the shop. "We must repay our little helpers for their kindness," the shoemaker told his wife. "Let's make some fine clothes for them," she said. The next day, the shoemaker's wife knitted 2 cozy woolen jackets, 2 tiny scarves, and 2 pairs of warm pants. The shoemaker used his finest leather to make 2 little pairs of boots. That night, instead of leaving leather on his workbench, the shoemaker left the clothes all wrapped up in shiny paper and ribbons. Then he and his wife hid behind the curtain to wait. At the stroke of midnight, the shop door opened, and in came the little elves. They hopped up onto the workbench and saw the presents that had been left for them. The elves opened the parcels at once, and in the twinkling of an eye, had dressed in their new clothes. The presents were the shoemaker's way of saying thank you. The elves did a happy dance, singing, "Now the shoemaker has grown rich. There's no need to sew and stitch." Then they hopped off the workbench and scurried out of the door. The shoemaker and his wife never saw the little elves again, but their troubles were over, and they had a good and happy life together for many long years. The end. I hope you liked it. Bye.
Thank you, Emily. That was delightful. Did you know that The Elves and the Shoemaker is a very, very old story? It's called a fairy tale. I'm going to teach you a very, very old nursery rhyme called 1, 2, Buckle My Shoe. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, can you count with me? 4, shut the door. Slam. 5, 6, pick up sticks. 7, 8, lay them straight. 9, 10, do you know it? Big fat hen. Can you do it with me? 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, shut the door. Slam. 5, 6, pick up sticks. 7, 8, lay them straight. 9, 10, big fat hen. Good job, guys. For today's craft, we're going to be like the elves and the shoemaker and make our own shoes. Attached to this story time is this PDF of a shoe. You can color or decorate it any way you want and then cut it out. If you'd like to cut it out even further, you can get this little hole right here and then come down the line. And if one of your adults has a hole punch, punch right through there and lace it. Practice tying it. That's a skill that you learn in preschool. Mabel and I would like to thank you for joining our story times. I'm going to take a little break for at least a week while I get ready for the summer reading program. It's going to look a little different this year because everything looks a little different this year, doesn't it, Mabel? Hopefully your adult got something like this in the mail. Well, it's really for you. And if you have siblings and they want one, well then give the library a call at 256-7525 or give me an email at lisa.martin@cityofmadisonsd.com. And I'll make sure that everyone in your family gets a bingo card. On the bingo card are fun reading activities. Every time you do one of these fun reading activities, you get to cross it off until you get a bingo. Once you've got a bingo, we have some fun prizes. There's lots of fun things to do on this card. There's reading, there's activities, and then there's watching things like an online story time. You can do one bingo, and then if you'd like to get another prize, you can do a whole blackout. Again, if you have any questions, call 256-7525 or email me at lisa.martin@cityofmadison.com. SD.com. I can't wait to see you all, and I hope that you are keeping your reading up and learning all sorts of new things. I know when I see you again, you're going to be so big and grown. I'm very excited for that day. Have fun reading. I'll see you soon.